All right, it is time now once again for the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast.
Damn, baby, you got some lungs there.
Yeah, well, my name is Elias Mellis, but you can call me Eli for short. And who is this extremely patient, beautiful, amazing lady to my right? And I emphasize she's extremely patient.
Well, I'm Dawn Ledgerwood, and I'm your girlfriend.
That's right. You're Dawn Ledgerwood, my girlfriend and my future wife, and everything is all good in the hood, right, baby?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. This is episode number 30. And the title of episode number 30 is Be Real, Confidence Without a Costume. One more time. Episode number 30 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast is Be Real, Confidence Without a Costume. Did I say that right the first time?
Yeah.
I hope I did. Be real, confidence without a costume. I hope if I said it wrong, then I correct it.
We'll go back to the thumbnail and read it from there.
Yeah. Anyway, today we're going to be diving into how to show up as your true self, especially online, without pretending to be someone you're not. Right, baby?
Yeah. I have a lot to say about that, but we'll get into it first.
Of course, you have a lot to say about that. But before we get into that, as always, we start off by talking about how the past week has been here at the GNA, short for Genuine Networking Association. So, my lovely lady, my lovely, very patient lady, how's the past week gone? It's been another very interesting yet productive and wonderful week, right?
Yeah, we always have very productive weeks. We stay busy and get things done, which I love about us, you know. There's, while I was recovering, I had a lot of downtime. But now that I'm fully recovered and I've gotten clearance by my doctors that I could do more in the house, then now I'm able to get up and work out more and help more in the house. I don't know how many, but we had several plastic bottles of water and random other stuff. But I don't know how many bags do you think I did that one day?
You probably did at least 10.
Yeah.
You crushed 10 bottles and cans. Well, 10 bags of bottles and cans.
Yeah.
And, initially I bought this electric can crusher from Amazon last year, and the motor burned out.
So quickly.
It burned out 3 months after usage.
Yeah.
And actually, those electric can crushers with the volume of cans and bottles that we consume here in this house.
Yeah. We get them from his brother. We get them from his aunt, his mom, and her friend.
Oh yeah.
So we collect a lot between the 5 different people collecting.
Yeah.
So
and that's because if you do it right, and you crush the cans, you can fit a ton of bags in the car. And there's a place where they still pay you for California redemption value. Most places don't pay you for recycling anymore, but there are a few still left. And, if you can get $120, $150, every 4 to 6 months for cans, that's an extra $300 a year that, you'd be throwing away otherwise, right?
Well, yeah, that's how I look at it. And it's better for the environment. I mean, yeah, the money is great, but that's not really why I started doing this. I started for the environment. In fact, I didn't even know that there were recycling places that could pay me. I just always went put them in the recycling bins and recycled that way.
Well, our recycling company, I believe it's called Recology out here, they will pick up recyclables, but they won't pay us. Yet they get money.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. So instead of giving it to your garbage company, which also most garbage companies pretty much they do recycling as well, but they don't pay you. Instead of giving it to them and they make the money, you do it yourself, take it to a recycling center that still pays you. And then it's a win-win for the environment. You have some extra money and it's all good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it really isn't that much work if you keep up on it. But we had gotten a little bit behind with a lot of things we were doing, throughout the week and places we were going. And so it kind of piled up. And so one day, Eli was in here working on the computer and I just started crushing bottles. And like he went for his walk, I was still crushing bottles. But I got a lot of work done that day and I felt accomplished. I felt like I really helped him out. And
you did?
Because it was piling up, but I knew it was overwhelming you to see it pile up like that,
Yeah.
So we got that done. I feel so accomplished and happy. We did, however, it's been an emotional week. We went to the memorial for my friend.
Mm-hmm.
A sad event, of course, but it was nice to see a lot of the people that I know out there, some of my friends, some people that are just acquaintances that I know, but it was just great to see everybody, and it's just horrible that in these tragic times, that's what brings the people together. You reconnect. And it's like we should be connecting every day with the people we know, and that goes also along with our topic. You go and you be confident and all you have to do is just be yourself.
Right.
That you don't want to be arrogant. You don't want to be cocky. Just be yourself.
Just like the picture says behind us. Well, you're blocking the view. That's okay.
I can't see.
It says always be yourself.
Okay. Always be yourself.
Always be yourself with some beautiful daisies.
Yes.
I got those digital daisies for you, baby.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And like I told you before we started recording, they didn't even cost me anything. And you didn't like the fact that I said they didn't cost me anything, but I still love you anyway.
Well, and technically they won't die.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So they're everlasting flowers.
Yeah.
So, but what I was going to say is, when you have people like that in your life, you don't have to put a costume on. Just be real and they're going to love you for who you are. And if they don't, oh well.
Screw them.
Agree to disagree and walk away. It's like, alrighty, we just aren't going to get along. So have a nice life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A few more things before we get into the topic today. First and foremost, by the time this podcast is released, we're recording this podcast on Sunday, October 12th, 2025. It'll be released throughout the entire podcast network on YouTube and audio only on Wednesday, October 15th. At this point, it will be, a day after Microsoft has finally ended support for Windows 10. So on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, Microsoft officially ends support for Windows 10 unless you pay money. They're going to, I believe, extend support for people that pay for the extended support for 2 to 3 years, or you can upgrade to Windows 11. Now, on the laptop here that I use to record these shows, and I use it as my business laptop as well. It's a very powerful laptop, i9 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of hard drive space, yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada.
I understand to you that's, gibberish, but, pretty good specs. So on my laptop here, I have 2 partitions with 2 separate, operating systems. They were both Windows 10. And the reason why I did that is when you upgrade stuff, you can always test it on your secondary partition, which doesn't affect the main hard drive that we're using right now, the main part of the hard drive, and logging into the main operating system to do these shows and to run other things. I have installed Windows 11 on my secondary partition. It seems to be working well. I have a minor issue regarding file folders not opening unless I do a few tweaks. I think that's an issue with some software programs. I'm going to uninstall and reinstall some software programs and get that all working, and then install it on the main hard drive that we're using right now to record this show over the course of the next few days. And in the future, by next podcast, we may dedicate part of the show to share, how Windows 11 has been working for us. A lot of people did not upgrade to Windows 11 right away. Some have still not upgraded. I waited till the very last minute because Windows 10 was working great, and there were a lot of issues initially with Windows 11. But besides the file folder issue that I have, opening up file folders, which if I do a few tweaks, it'll start working. I will find a permanent fix for that. And I think that's a software glitch on my end. It seems to be working pretty well. And, you can pretty much set it up as you had it set up in Windows 10. You can move the start bar to the left instead of the default center, which is what Microsoft has done now. On Apple operating systems, the start bar has always been in the middle. I believe that's why Microsoft started doing that by default in Windows 11, but you can actually shift it over to the left, like previous versions, have had it. So that is that. I believe also Windows 10, they had it by default in the center, but you can move it over to the left and customize it in the ways that you've been used to using Windows for a while. So we'll update people on that, over the next few podcast episodes. And if you haven't connected with us on YouTube, connect with us on YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. If it's not on YouTube, if you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it audio only, you can go below in the description section of wherever you're listening to this audio only and click the link. That'll take you to the main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development, where this podcast is hosted at every week, audio and video. And once you go there, if you go in the description section of the video version of this podcast, a couple lines down, you will see the link to our secondary channel, GNA, Genuine Live Personal Development, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, our live streaming channel where I will be updating people more frequently on Windows 11 and other things. I do daily, if not almost daily, Walking with Purpose live streams and other live streams from the studio. Sometimes Don will join me on those. And so if you want more frequent updates than just the weekly podcast, wherever you're consuming it, that's the way to do it. With that being said, there was one more thing I wanted to mention, and I totally forgot. You mentioned your friend.
Yes.
I mentioned the Windows 11.
Yes.
And
talked about the bottles.
We talked about the bottles, and
any of that trigger what you were trying to think of?
No.
Okay, well, maybe it'll come to you.
Maybe it'll come back to me as the show goes on. Oh,
I understand.
Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. So I was talking with Dawn before the show, and I told her, I said, in the past, more so on YouTube, we've engaged in some content we probably shouldn't have engaged on. And
speak for yourself.
No, I understand. That was primarily myself, but all I was ever doing was defending myself against other people on YouTube that were saying things about myself and my organization and my lady and other people that are close to us that do content with us. All I was doing was, trying to defend them. And we're not going to even be doing that. We want to take a vow here today to our podcast audience, and including our YouTube audience that are watching this, on the video side of things, that we vow positivity throughout the duration of, throughout us continuing to do this. I mean, indefinitely, we vow positivity. of course, we're human, and there may be sometimes where we slip or feel the need to defend ourselves. I think where it's warranted, we'll defend ourselves. But for the most part, we want to keep it 100% positive. There is an abundance of negativity on the internet. We don't need to contribute to it. We're fighting to try to make the internet a better place, not worse. We're fighting to bring more positivity to this world, not just online, but offline as well. And it is crucial for Dawn and I to lead by example and be role models. And if we're constantly, fighting with people on the internet that are saying nasty things about us, instead of just ignoring it, then we're not being as good of a role model as we should be. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that, sweetheart?
Say it again.
I was saying, we want to be a better, more positive role model and not contribute to more of the outrageous, crazy drama that's already happening.
Yeah, now I know where I was going to go with that. Now I remember. Now I forgot where I was going to go with it.
Well, I mean, you don't have any
Say
thoughts?
It one more time.
You don't have any thoughts that just pop into your head?
Right now, no.
Yeah, no, we're taking a vow to be positive.
Well, yeah.
And to also be positive on these shows. We've had some moments on these shows, and I'm not saying that we're not going to have them again, but
I think I was misunderstanding your question.
I'm just saying positivity is where we're at and where we want to be, and we don't want any negativity anymore, and that starts between you and I.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, we have our moments on the show. Sometimes things that have happened in our real lives will carry onto the show, and we're going to do our best to not bring that publicly. We're going to try to do our best to keep all of the negative stuff that's affecting us. We're going to do our best to handle that completely offline behind the scenes, as, any smart business owner, would do, right?
Yeah, we definitely want to have our route be towards positivity. We want to do encouragement and help people strive to just feel better during the day, or strive to have the confidence to go in to get that job, or go apply for that home loan, or whatever, so yeah, positivity.
It goes beyond that as well.
Yeah.
Any type of negativity contributes to unnecessary stress, and stress is one of the most unhealthiest things.
Yeah, it's like
for a human being.
It's like the number one killer, I would say.
It's a big killer.
Yeah, because the stress will lead to heart attacks. So if they say, heart attacks are the leading cause of death, well, let's think of the stem of where the problem came from. Right. Excessive stress will lead to high blood pressure, which will lead to cardiac issues.
Yeah, and also, on top of that, stress will drain your energy. So that makes you less productive on any given day that you engage in drama, even if it's supposedly for the right reasons of defending yourself. At some point, you have to pull back, and understand that and we're going to talk about this today through some of the Reddit postings we go. I'll share in a bit how this show is going to go. But you have to understand that a lot of people on the internet intentionally do things to create outrage, because that's the only thing that keeps their audience around. And it's also the only thing that opens the pocketbooks of audiences, from creators that feel the need. This is the only way they can make money by the content they're creating, that feel the need to do what they're doing. in order to make money based on this type of outrageous content. So, you know, it's just not worth it. And we're taking a strong stance on it. And if anyone, is struggling in handling this, because there are a lot of great people that I've met on social media, especially on YouTube. They're also creators. They're dealing with, things from other creators. If anyone needs our support and help and advice on how to get through this, please reach out to us. We will talk privately behind the scenes. The thing is, when you talk about it on the front lines, we want to give more general, basic type of information, not name particular people, groups, and information like that, because all that does is fuels the fire of those groups to continue going.
Mhm.
I'll make it very clear, and then we'll move on. And I think you're going to agree. You let me know. Silence is what shuts other creators' negativity down. It shuts them down, shuts their groups down. Silence. And it's not easy because these creators, they continue to poke the bear. And when they don't get that response from you, they amp things up. And if you just hold your ground and stay silent and keep quiet, eventually they're going to have nowhere to go. And they're going to show their true cards and their desperation to suck you back into drama, because their survival methods on the internet are dependent on that. Don't give people that. What are your thoughts before we move on here?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Like with what you're saying.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, you nailed it. Like I like the thoughts that I was processing in my head, you were saying them as I was processing them. So I'm like, well, I don't have to say that.
Well, you can say whatever you want. You can agree,
I don't want to
disagree.
repeat
You can add
things.
to it. You can say, hey, babe,
no, I agree.
you're wrong. Let me correct you. It's
Okay.
all good.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just agreeing with you right now.
I know.
Yeah, you pretty much what I was thinking about you were saying. So that's why I was like, well, I don't really have anything else to say.
Dawn is not used to me being, I've always been respectful to my lady. Sometimes I haven't done a good enough job of, saying it, right? But now that I'm more so saying it, she's not used to it. And, I appreciate you, babe. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
I can tell that you appreciate it, because, hey, you're like, I have nothing more to add because you said it. And, hey, I don't always have to, throw in something extra when it's going to sound similar to what you said. Okay, wonderful. I love you. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. We've come a long way, and we worked hard, even in our relationship, to better communicate, right, baby?
Well, yeah, and we've learned throughout our years, our different relationships, our friendships, everything. It's just, I've grown so much. I know that, because I didn't always act like myself. So I'm understanding exactly, like, this really touches my heart a little bit, because it shows me, first off, the progress I've made, which I'm proud of.
Absolutely.
But then it also shows me where I went wrong. So I've learned not to do those behaviors again. And really, it is just about being yourself and not being afraid. Because like I said, people are more likely to accept you if you're real versus being fake. They can't trust you if you're fake.
Right.
No,
you're right. And we've all had experiences in the past. You, myself, every one of us, right? And we're so used to doing things a certain way, or some of us are so used to being attacked or perceiving something said as meaning something different. And so, we've come a long way to better understand each other. And, now we want to focus on sharing what we've learned with you folks. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the show. You ready for that, baby?
Well, then if we're going to go, we'll do first break and get into the show. Because I don't want to be talking about this and then have to stop.
Okay, well.
So, yeah.
Wait, you're going to go right now?
I'm going to go. Well, you said we're going to get right into it.
Okay, so hold on. Give me a second here. We're 25 minutes into the show. Okay, let me go ahead and turn off the camera here. Dawn needs to use the restroom already after 25 minutes. It's one of those days.
No, it's not that. I just don't want to have to interrupt us in the middle of what we're doing.
Okay, yeah, while Dawn uses the restroom, let me take this moment before we get into the first part of the show to make everyone aware that's listening to us on the audio-only podcast network. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on my lady's favorite podcasting hosting site, iHeartRadio. We're on Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music, and we're on many others that are not as not as popular or not as known. So if you're listening to us audio only, go in the description section of where you're listening to us audio only, and you'll see a link to our video. If you want to connect with us on our YouTube channels, including the channel that hosts the audio and video version together of this podcast, when you click that link, the video will open. You will also see below the video screen our channel name, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. That's our main channel where we put out primarily pre-recorded content like this podcast, YouTube Shorts, and other pre-recorded content every now and then. When you go there, make sure you subscribe, you bang the bell, select the notifications so you don't miss anything. Then go below the description of the video of our podcast. A couple lines down, you'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel. It's called GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. When you go over there, make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications as well so you don't miss anything, because that's where I go live almost every day, if not every day. I do Walking with Purpose live streams. They do have a topic, but they're more so informal. We'll discuss a topic, and, I open it up to everyone to ask questions in the chat. Be respectful or you will be removed. And we do have slow-mo. Or slow mode on, 60 seconds per message. We also have a lot of filters there. So, we want to make it very clear that we have zero tolerance for trolling, for hating, attacking, etc. We do some live streams from the studio as well.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Let's get the camera back on. We do some live streams from the studio as well. And Dawn joins me on some of the walking streams and some of the in-studio streams. And sometimes when we get a chance, we even do a show called On the Couch with Don and Eli live from our couch.
We haven't done one of those in a while.
Well, we'll do one of those real soon.
Yeah.
You want to do an On the Couch sometime soon, baby?
Yeah, sometime soon.
Okay, we'll do an On the Couch very soon. We'll get that on the calendar. So, yeah, make sure you connect with us on both of our YouTube channels if you're listening to us audio only. And that way, you'll have more regular content from us and the Genuine Networking Association. We truly want to help you become the best version of yourself that you can be. We want to help you figure out what your purpose is so you can shine in life personally and professionally, online and offline. And if you're having any issues, online or offline, we can help you through that as well. You can reach out to us also, Elias Mellis at GenuineNetworkingAssociation.org. I'll get that email. The email is everywhere this podcast is at. Just go in the description section. Eventually, Dawn will have an email, and our other executives, Sandra and Tia, will have an email. I'm probably not going to launch that until the beginning of the new year in 2026. For right now, just email me anything. And if you have questions for Dawn or anyone else that's a part of the GNA, just email me and I'll make sure I get them the message, and then I'll respond to you until we get them all in email. All right, so let's roll.
Let's roll.
Okay. So, Dawn.
So, Eli.
Are you ready to get real?
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's not like we haven't been real all along. We're like the realest of the real on the internet.
Open book here. Open book.
Open book, and any type of outrage that's happened on our end here has been real. Like, we've never scripted anything. We're raw and real, on YouTube and these podcasts and wherever else that we've created content in the past. So the way this show is going to go, we have a total of 5 segments where I'm going to be asking Dawn some questions. You don't have to get into too much detail because I've got a total of like 20 questions to ask you. Hey, isn't that the famous?
Yeah, 20 questions.
20 questions, yeah. And after we get through these segments, I'm sure Dawn will take another quick break. And then we have 3 supporting Reddit postings. They are fantastic. We'll get to that during the second part of the show. First question for you. Segment 1 is about the roots of real confidence. Let me ask you, Dawn, when did you first realize the difference between being confident and acting confident?
Probably not until my late 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
It took you that long?
It did.
Why do you think it took you that long?
Denial. Lots of denial in my life. A lot of things I didn't want people to know. So I would put an act on, and then...
Did you not want them to know because you felt shame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And with the parts that I felt shame, I obviously was gaslighting those people. I was talking mad shit, making it look like it was all their fault, not mine, of course.
You were acting like you were all that in a bag of chips, right?
Well, yeah, I'm like, how can I not be perfect? I'm a wife, I'm a nurse, I'm a mother. Like, how much better can this get? And yeah, we know how much better it can get. But yeah, no, it took me some time, and I actually want to give you some credit because,
thank you.
When I first started talking to you, there was something about you that made me just open up. It was like a comforting feeling. I didn't feel as vulnerable with you.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel it was comfortable to open up to me because you felt I was one of the few guys that you have dated that actually understands the emotions and what women truly want and need? They want to be heard and understood. Did you feel that had a lot to do with it?
That's the thing. You listened to me.
Okay.
That was a huge thing. I like to be heard. I don't like my voice to be overlooked. Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to you, but all women want to be heard and understood. That's a common problem across the board between men and women, right?
But a lot of women will, hold back, in situations because they don't feel it's their place, or they're too scared of people's reactions or whatever the situation might be.
They're afraid of being shamed. They're afraid of being dismissed and not given a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I just met this guy. I don't want to scare him away after the first date. I don't want to vomit all of my shit on him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally at the end of me telling him my story, I was like, already, are you ready to run yet? And he said, no, I'm here. And that said something.
You don't run from real. You run from fake. You don't run from real.
Amen.
You run from the fake and the phony. I, had many choices, and so did you when it came to the dating world. And I ran away from many women, even after a phone conversation, after meeting them from Match.com or any dating app. After having that conversation, it just didn't flow. I didn't feel they were being real. They were holding back. some of them would say, what is this, 20 questions? What is this, a job interview? And the truth of the matter, it is a fucking job interview. When you're getting to know someone, if you don't want your time wasted and you're not willing to go through the supposed interview. Now, I don't go out there saying, hey, I'm going to, and then let me get your number so I can interview you to see if you qualify to be my girlfriend.
And what are your intentions with our company or with me? How long do you feel invested?
But you get on the phone and you start asking questions to get to know the person.
Yeah.
And you look to see how vulnerable are they and how standoffish are they? If they just come out and just share with you, then you know they're real. And they're basically telling you, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I mean, what's there not to respect about that, babe?
Yeah. And, I do respect it because people will be vulnerable to share that experience with somebody facing the fact that they can be rejected. So it's scary. A lot of people hide behind that. Mm-hmm. And that's their costume, is they're hiding behind how that's they right. really feel.
Great topic as we head into Halloween.
Yeah.
Right? Later this month.
Are we getting our costumes?
Yes, we are. What is it? October 31st, is it?
That's been Halloween since fucking Halloween came out.
I don't know, baby. I'm so consumed with so many other things. I'm forgetting like obvious holidays. Now I'll probably forget that Christmas is December 25th by the time we get there. I mean, I'm just keeping it real with you.
Yeah, we're both starting to lose our minds, huh?
Yeah, I've lost a few marbles. Anyway, let me ask you, babe, do you think most people learn confidence or imitate it?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question, huh?
I think it's 50-50. I think some children, as they're being raised by their parents, they it's kind of a tight line there because you want to tell your children you're smart, you're beautiful, you're number one, but that could make that kid arrogant and be like out there on the field like I'm the best player, so you have to encourage them to play, and then if they lose, they've got to lose with dignity. They can't stomp their feet, throw a ball or whatever. And that's where I think parents, if they can initiate that sort of confidence, like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I missed that ball. I'll catch the next one. You're not going to sit there and kick yourself. You're not going to put yourself down like, oh, if I had caught that ball, we would have won the game. You can't do that.
You can't dwell on the past.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, yes, every day of your life makes you who you are. But like we say, like the mistakes we make in the past are lessons learned.
We learn from them. Right.
Yes. Okay. Question
Every
3.
mistake that we make is a lesson learned.
Yeah.
So you should look at it as more of a positive thing. Mistakes are not necessarily negative. They're more so positive because how the hell are you going to learn to not make them if you don't know what's a mistake or not until you make the mistake and then you correct it, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody like your parents or friends or somebody like us helps you understand that, hey, this is not the right thing to do. Okay, I'll work on that. Okay.
Yeah, even as minor as keep your elbows off the table. And a lot of parents try to teach their children to do that, to just be proper at the table. Maybe not so much nowadays, but when I was growing up, and I assume when you were growing up, your family was like the same way.
Oh, yes.
Hats off at the table.
You're talking about teaching your kids manners.
Manners, which will lead to confidence and all of that, because if they...
And respect too, baby.
And respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you can be yourself, and have that confidence that, you know what, I'm worth it. I can make it, If I hiccup today, well, there's tomorrow, Not every door that's shut isn't like that's a no, doesn't mean that there's not going to be another door that says yes. So, you got to just be humble. Humble's a great thing. That is where you actually are your best self.
Absolutely.
Is if you can humble yourself and realize, maybe you aren't as good as you thought you were, um, that could be a real like freaking boom,
Boom.
like a truth bomb, baby.
A truth bomb, baby?
A truth bomb.
Are you saying that you want me to give a truth bomb?
A truth bomb.
Okay, truth bomb. How about a double dose?
Double dose
of the truth bomb?
So could I just add that with truth in church and let's go on to 4?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So what are some signs you're slipping into a costume version of yourself, babe?
For myself, it's when I feel uncomfortable in the room. If maybe I don't know a lot of people, maybe it's just a situation that's really kind of uncomfortable in general. Maybe you're going to your kid's wedding and your ex and his family's going to be there and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you just got to hold your head up high, keep your shoulders upright and just no matter what the situation is, walk through that door with confidence. Like you belong there.
Exactly. And you know what, babe? When I used to run in-person networking events at the GNA, there were a lot of new entrepreneurs. Many of them had a day job, but they were working a side gig, and they were completely new to come into in-person networking events and socializing at that level. And so when you're in that situation, even when I first started doing it, you're going to feel like, you're going there, you're going to feel like you have to be a certain way and slip into a costume version of yourself because maybe you're a little shy or timid, or you feel like you're not going to be accepted. And there's a certain level of that being normal. Now, if you continue to be that way indefinitely, that can be a problem. That's what we're more so talking about, people that are continuously wearing a costume in life, online and offline, every single day. But what I used to do, I used to go to every one of the networking events that I ran. I think I only missed 1 or 2 out of all the events I ran all over Northern California. And I made it a point to personally welcome everyone as they are walking in, whether they've been around for a while or they're new, especially the new people that are nervous and shy and stuff. Hey, come on in. My name is Elias Mellis. I'm the president and founder of the GNA. Welcome. Please let me introduce you to some people. I could tell some people would look awkward or feel shy.
Like it was their first time.
What people need to more so start doing that are organizing events is personally welcoming people at the door. And if your events are small enough, like ours, where, anywhere from 20 to 50 to 100 people, you can do that. Now, when you get to
1,000,
when you get to thousands of people, at that point, you're going to have other people that are helping your organization or working for the organization do it. You need to train those people in the same ways, to treat people in the same ways that you would. Personally welcome them, have them introduce them to other people. So that way they feel like they're a part of something. They feel like you want them there. You remove all of that tension, and then you can help them take off that costume or that mask. And you do that by making them feel comfortable. You want to make people feel comfortable. You want to make them feel like you're welcoming them into your house, but you want to also make them feel like they're in their own home within your house. And that's what I've always done. My house is your house. I've always used that. Okay. And that's what we need to do. But many events that I went to and many situations in social settings nowadays, people aren't doing that. Even if you hang out with a group of people from your high school or your college or your work, if there are new people involved, you want to introduce everyone to everyone and, remove all of that tension and stress from the new people that are coming out to hang out. and then that's going to make it a lot better. What are your thoughts before we move on?
Oh, yeah. No, I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Question 4?
Yeah. Yes. How do you reset when you notice that happening, baby? When you slip into that costume, how do you reset?
You know what? Sometimes it takes somebody really close to me who knows me to basically like slap me out of it, you know?
Figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Not literally, figuratively.
Yes, or shake it out of me, figuratively.
Like when I'm around, I will say, "Hey, babe, it's all good. You know what? You're worth it. Let's have a good time. No need to stress out. No need to feel anxious. It's all good. I'm here for you."
Yeah. Yeah. And see, my mom was more tough love. So I could have a good reaction, was what my mom said, or I could have a bad one, depending upon who I was that day, like what mood I was in.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with somebody in any new situation holding you by the hand for 5-10 minutes or so. But after that, it's up to the person to then mingle with the people that they've been introduced to, right? If they continue to wear a costume after that or a mask after that, then they need to work on other things that are beyond the scope of what we do here. And we've always said, hey, if it gets to that level, then a psychiatrist and or a psychologist, between a combination of therapy, mental therapy, and medication, you may need that. But for the most part, if you hold people by the hand initially, they're going to start to feel comfortable. They're going to break out of that shell, and then they're going to be the most chatty people afterwards. I've seen people go from being the shyest to not being able to shut their fucking mouths.
Yeah,
Right.
And I've seen on the flip side where you go with somebody who's obnoxious and crazy, and then they become calm and like serene with the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Wow, we're already at 47 minutes. Wow, this is fantastic. Okay,
Question
segment
5?
2, baby.
Oh, is Chuck question 5?
Well, we're segment 2.
Uh-huh.
And these are not numbered in any particular order, so I won't even look at them by numbers. But segment 2, the pressure to perform. Let me ask you, babe, why do you think creators feel pushed to project confidence even when they don't feel it? That's a great question, huh?
Well, yeah, it is a great question. The thing is that they're getting their confidence from the fact that they're behind a screen and using their keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. They're never going to have real, true confidence in themselves because they are the ones wearing the costumes every day, acting for an audience that they probably don't care about. But those people are the ones paying them for that kind of behavior.
Right.
So, it all depends on what kind of person you want to be and how you want to live your life. You want to live being fake, or do you want to live being real?
I totally agree with you on that, babe. I totally agree with you on that. And, there are a lot of creators that they lack self-confidence to the point of where the only type of content they feel confident in doing is reaction type of content, by baiting other creators to overreact. And then those creators will call those creators out. I've seen many creators do it. I used to do it myself before I realized how YouTube and the internet works. It's like, if you want to create something real and positive, you cannot sit there and get caught in the trap of any back and forth with any other creators, because all you're doing is giving them more oxygen and basically burning down your own business at the same time, or burning down your channel or your message at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
what I also don't like?
What's that?
Is how they don't put their face on camera.
Yeah.
So they literally are hiding who they are and not even being honest with their audience.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. And, you can tell, you can tell, which people are displaying real confidence or fake confidence, or wearing a
Whether
mask
it's
or a costume.
whether it's arrogance or I mean, you could really tell the difference. I mean, I think I can. I'm pretty observant of people. Never judge a book by its cover, but you
Right.
can kind of get an idea of what the book is like by the cover.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
So yeah, it's, you gotta look at how people are acting around you. And if that's how you want to be or who you want to be around you, then you're not going to get very far, because like attracts like.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why the audiences of creators are going to typically be similar to the creator. They're going to be in the same mental and emotional mindset. They're going to like similar things.
Well,
right.
That makes total sense.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about you, but I don't have enough time in the day to listen to somebody that I don't even like. Like, I don't like the kind of content that they put out.
The negativity.
I don't like the negativity. So why am I going to stay there and watch it and then bitch about it?
And then also understand that the majority of that isn't even true negativity. It's fake created outrage to feed what their audience wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fake outrage amplified, because when these creators do any other type of content, it's far less profitable, like 80% less profitable, and gets 80% less attention/views. That's what I've noticed. But I have a great follow-up for you. You ready for that? How can you tell when confidence turns into a performance? I was just talking about that. It's a performance.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great segue into this question. How can you tell when confidence turns into a performance, babe? You just know they're acting. They're putting on a show just to make money, right? Or to get attention.
Yeah,
right?
or to get attention.
Right.
Yeah. Circumstances that I can think of is, walking into a room, potential people that you don't know, and you just walk in there and you're just like, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm the man. You got swag walking in, and you want everybody to stop breathing when you walk through the room. That's arrogance. That's not confidence. That's a lot of insecurities.
Absolutely, babe. How do you balance professionalism and authenticity on camera? That's a great question. Go ahead. I have a lot to say about this one.
Well, I mean, I think that you and I are a complete, example of that.
We're a great example of that.
Yeah. I mean, we have our issues right here. Like, we'll disagree.
Who doesn't disagree, baby?
But we'll talk about it, even if it looks like I'm like, oh my God, he's such an idiot. It's like, because that's my initial, are you kidding me? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But tell me who doesn't do that. Honestly.
Right. It's really weird. And just as a blanket example, a lot of times when you've rolled your eyes in the past, you get certain people that try to overanalyze it on YouTube or the internet. Oh, look, Dawn rolled her eyes and she's pissed off at Eli, and oh my God, there's trouble in paradise tonight, and oh, Eli's going to be sleeping on the couch tonight, or Eli's going to be
in the doghouse.
Or I mean, they know it's fake outrage. They're trying to get views. We know it's fake outrage. And the thing is, initially you didn't know that because you were learning, and initially I didn't know that. I was learning, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's my point. It's like when you take somebody who's being real and then you go over the top talking about that person, that doesn't show confidence either. That shows obsession with that person.
Oh, obsession is a
honestly.
Great fucking word, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Obsession. Oh my God. Oh man, there are lots of people on the internet that are extremely obsessed
A lot of people have
Yeah.
different obsessions, whether it's sports, hiking, TV, going to the art museum, whatever. Everybody
Yeah.
has something,
Absolutely.
so it's hard to judge each individual.
Well, you mind if I share real quick, how I balance professionalism and authenticity on camera? I think nowadays it is important to be completely 100% real and genuine with people. Doesn't mean you have to tell them every little aspect of your life, but you do need to share at least enough, to one, be true to yourself, and two, that'll come off true. And it is true. It'll come off true to your audience. So, I think a lot of people, in this modern world appreciate authenticity because what we're used to in the past is hearing what the news would say, or before the internet came out and we were able to upload our own videos and stream our own live shows and do podcasts and stuff like that. We had the mainstream media, also known as legacy media. We had ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, and some cable stations, and we were confined to how they presented things, and they had to present things in a certain way because they have sponsors and other things. And a lot of people have said, this is not as real as it can be. I'm not saying that all these, these providers of content in the mainstream media, legacy media, were lying. Sometimes they lied, even when they were, speaking truthfully on things. They weren't as objective as they could be. They weren't as real as they should have been, or probably wanted to. They were controlled because of
they're probably exaggerated.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they would present their content in a way that was advertiser friendly to their sponsors, and in a way that wouldn't get them fired by the company they're working for because they're working for another company. We're working for ourselves. This is our own YouTube channel, our own podcast, our own business. We have full control over that. And that's why I'm self-employed. That's why we're doing this on our own, because we have control, and that allows us to be as real with you as possible. We don't have any restrictions on that. I think balancing professionalism and authenticity, I think they go hand in hand. I think the more authentic you are, the more professional you are.
Yeah.
The less
absolutely.
authentic you are, the less professional you are. And saying a swear word every now and then nowadays doesn't make you unprofessional. People relate to it. Even Chris Cuomo, I've heard him say "fuck" on News Nation. I don't think he was supposed to, but even
sometimes it just flows.
They say shit or whatever, or BS or bullshit, and I see the realness. I'm seeing more realness now on social media with creators that are like us, which there are some creators like us that are real. The majority is still the outrageous phonies out there that are wearing the mask and costumes, but the people that are going to be more successful in the long run are the ones that are completely authentic, and that's what's most professional in my eyes. Anything else, or should we continue?
Continue.
All right, babe. What's one grounding habit you use before recording or going live?
I'm sorry, one habit?
What's one grounding habit that grounds you, that you use before recording or going live, before we do a video or a stream or a podcast or any type of content?
I think I spoke about this last week, but like before the show, my grounding time is in the shower. That's where I get my thoughts out and get ready to, it's like that's the time I use to prepare myself to do the show. And, so yeah, I'm getting ready, but I'm also thinking about the topic and where it might go and how I feel about it. And So, that I can come over here on camera and really feel confident about the fact I thought things through
Yeah.
before I'm just coming here and jumping in and reacting.
So it's like your sanctuary. It's your escape to the point of where you can confine your thoughts.
Yes.
And you can relax yourself, and then you're ready to go. You're mentally preparing yourself. You're mentally and emotionally preparing yourself. And I will agree on that. For me, I've been doing this so long, longer than Dawn, to the point of where it's second nature. My methods are taking a deep breath. Sometimes taking an Epsom salt bath. That really does help. Just thinking about how I want to present myself. I'm not saying I'm controlling myself. I still go on the fly. But I keep when I'm mentally prepared and I'm calm, I'm more able to rationalize and make fewer mistakes. Hopefully not any mistakes, but that's not possible. I'm less likely to say something I didn't mean or make a mistake like that. When you're cool, calm, and collected because you've properly prepared beforehand, you started thinking about, yes, this is the show, this is our topic. This is our intended message to our audience. I put myself in that mindset. You got to put yourself in the mindset of whatever you're doing or creating in advance, even an hour or two. Even an hour or two in advance is better than nothing. The more time, the better. But even if you only have a couple of hours or so, even that is adequate enough time.
Yeah, and sometimes if I'm still not quite feeling it after the shower, I will just kind of see what my mood is, and then I'll play music. And then pretty much the last song I play is I'll Rise Up, because that inspires me to rise above what's going on, all of the pettiness that's going on in this world. And so when I listen to that song, my confidence is there.
This is my fight song.
Oh, that's my other one.
Oh.
That's the other one. I have my fight song, and then the other one I just said, Rise Up. Yeah. Okay. Those are two very inspirational songs.
Absolutely. You have the most inspirational playlist I've ever heard. It's so inspirational that sometimes, like at the end of the day, like sometimes we'll take a bath together and you're playing that. It's so inspirational that sometimes I get overloaded with inspiration.
He gets too many feels.
Yeah. But let's continue because we've got like 12 more questions and we got to blitz through these. Jesus. Segment 3, authenticity in the spotlight. How has your idea of being real changed over time, babe?
Well, before I started YouTube, I was not very much in the quote unquote spotlight of anything. How this has changed me? Is that what you're...
How has your idea of being real changed over time?
Okay.
In general, it can mean online, offline, a combination of both.
Well, like I said before, I realized when I was not being my real true self, the people who did know me would tell me.
They knew you were full of shit.
They would say, "What's going on? You're keeping something from me." Because I would go out and they would see me acting opposite of what was really going on in my life. So they see that costume on and they'd be like, "What is going on with you?"
Right.
But they're the only ones that noticed that. Nobody else noticed that I was out just dancing and having a good time when really inside I was dead,
Okay. Well said. Well said. What does it look like to share honestly while still keeping healthy privacy? This is a big thing that you and I have both struggled with. Primarily probably my fault because I believe in so much transparency that I've always felt like sharing everything about myself with everyone doesn't mean that you're going to do it or you want to do it. But what does it look like to share honestly while still keeping healthy privacy?
That's something I had to learn. I had to learn that. And it was a hard lesson here on YouTube. I should have set boundaries on what I was going to let the rest of the world know about my life.
And initially you did not.
Initially, I was that open book, but I wasn't speaking to the right people.
But you also didn't know what was gonna come out of it. Like you were just thinking, hey, you're sharing your story. People that like it are gonna like it. People that don't are just gonna be like, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't realize the cruelness of exposing myself like that to the world. You know, I didn't realize that people were so mean, and that was a big eye opener.
Yeah, and in our situation, basically, when they couldn't get to me anymore, when the trolls and haters online couldn't get to me anymore, they tried to get to you to get to me. And initially, yes, they succeeded at that, but over the course of time,
see, that's what I'm saying.
We learned our lesson.
And I've developed more of a confidence here on YouTube to not react to all of the freaking garbage
too, right?
What?
And you learn to be immune to it. Like it doesn't affect you anymore. It's like number one, you don't feel a need to go searching for this stuff anymore. And number two, even if you come across something, you're like, whoa, whatever.
Yeah. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Right. And you and I have both learned to not fuel the fire of their drama anymore, of any creator's drama, right?
Silence is golden.
Silence is golden. Absolutely. And silence is deadly too. It is. It basically destroys, silence destroys drama quicker than anything.
Yeah.
Quicker than any amount of money or anything else. Like silence destroys drama.
You know what? It can destroy lives too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really live by, if you see something, say something. If it doesn't look right to you, then probably doesn't look right to other people.
Absolutely. I have a great follow-up question. When people say fake it till you make it, babe, where's the line between practice and pretending? Because to a certain extent, I believe in that phrase, and we all have to do that initially. Even when, doctors or attorneys or, insurance agents or anything, when they first get into the business, and they pass the test and they have a license, they don't know anything. They know very little. So you kind of have to fake it till you make it, but you also have to do it in a way to where you don't make mistakes and affect other people's lives or affect your license or anything like that.
Yeah.
So where's the line there?
Well, you want to elude enough confidence that in the situation of like a nurse and a patient, that nurse needs to walk in there like she knows exactly what she's doing. She can't walk in there all meek and quiet and, oh, does this hurt? Oh, because where is she going to be when there's a code? She could be running the other way, So as a nurse, if you just walk in there, like answer any questions to the best of your knowledge. If you can't, refer to the doctor.
Right.
But you walk in there and you're like, okay, what's your problem? I'm going to fix it for you, and you just develop a rapport, instead of just, leaving it for the next shift.
Right. If you don't know the answer, there usually is going to be somebody that knows the answer. Okay. I mean, don't try to, especially if you're in the medical field or when I was first selling insurance many, many years ago, if I didn't know something, I would ask my office, I would ask other agents, I would ask, other customer service reps. And after a while, that's how I learned. You have to also understand that pretty much everything nowadays is on the job training, whether you're working for someone else or working for yourself, it's on the job training.
Oh, yeah. Right? Well, that's what they do. I mean, I can relate to this from my time being a nurse. So when I was in school, what do? They put you in the hospital. It's clinicals, and you're learning with that instructor right behind you. So you've got her or him if anything were to go wrong. But they're putting you there and they're saying, put your hands on there and learn it. Hands-on experience. Because the more you do it in repetition, you'll get it right. And that helps teach, professionalism and all that good stuff we talked
Right, like
about.
Coach Corey Wayne used to say, repetition is the mother of skill. One more time, repetition is the mother of skill. All right, one more question from this section, babe. Why do you think audiences respond more to vulnerability than perfection? That is true. Audiences respond. Why do you think they respond more to vulnerability than perfection? You and I have been extremely vulnerable, and we've gotten a lot of responses, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. When you're real, everyone tunes in, whether they like you, whether they hate you, whether they're indifferent. Vulnerability, to me, is everything. And when you're out here doing what we do on YouTube, you're extremely vulnerable, or even on the podcast side of things, the audio only, you're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're vulnerable to what the audience has to say about you. And some people, if they get enough negativity, that will really bring them down. And then they're going to have to act like, oh my God, I'm better than what's going on. Like, this doesn't bother me. I got this, puff in your chest. Like, nobody's going to stop me, then it turns into arrogance. It's no longer confidence.
You know what? Beautiful answer. But before we continue, the dogs, the little one is sleeping right next to you on your chair.
Uh-huh.
And the big one is underneath. There's a double desk here for these shows, but he's by the main desk where I have a mat there. And Bochi took the mat and wrapped it up and made it a cushion for his chin. He's underneath.
He's such a spoiled dog.
It's okay. The dogs deserve to be spoiled. We love them. They're like our kids. Now, we wouldn't spoil kids if we have them in that way, but the dogs, they're dogs, for Christ's sake.
So they're more like grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it. Okay. All right. Segment 4, the cost of the costume. The cost of the costume. Babe, what's the personal toll of maintaining a fake persona too long? Trying to keep up with your own lies.
Trying to keep up with all your lies.
Lie,
yeah, I was going to say keeping up.
Credibility, right?
Yeah, and then you've got to keep that story amongst all different people, or it's got to change with other people based on the situation. And so having to keep all that shit straight in your head, you're going to lose it. That's stressful.
Right, and if you even slip for a second,
it's all over.
With how closely some people watch you on the internet, they will call you out. They will call you out.
And you're down. You're going down.
Even if you don't mention certain people by name, people that watch you very closely, if you've been fabricating something and then you slip on it, they'll call you out. You don't want to do that. Enough said. We should move on. Why is vulnerability still seen as weakness by some audiences? This is interesting. Go ahead.
Because they're afraid of being vulnerable.
That's a good point. Also, when you as a creator have trained your audience to expect certain things from you, or you've shown a certain side of you that they've gotten to know, whether it's real or not, that's the side that they relate to. That's the side that gets them engaged. So, if you're putting up a front, for example, as a YouTube content creator, right? The moment that you drop your guard from that front and start becoming more vulnerable is going to be perceived as weakness by some audiences in that situation. And that's why just being yourself is the best way. I've always been myself. I've always been honest. I've always been myself. I've always been real. Because no matter what weather, that we storm, right? No matter what weather comes across, even if it's stormy or not or whatever, you're still the same. You might have some people that don't like you, but you're going to have some people that like you. And, if you're trying to reach a more positive audience, it's not going to matter what the negative audience says, because you're being the same to them as you are to the real people. And it's more so like a distraction. But yeah, the phony creators, the ones that wear the mask, the ones that are wearing the costume, the ones that put on a show and show people that they're a certain way when they're not, once they change that and become more vulnerable, that audience is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That audience is gone. And if that's the only thing that they've ever been successful at, being that way, then they've just destroyed their whole game, which it needs to be destroyed anyway, because I don't think anyone should be like that. But that's just my opinion. Anything else, or should we
keep going?
Keep on going.
Keep on trucking.
Yeah. How can someone rebuild trust after realizing they weren't being fully authentic, babe?
Wow.
That's a hard hard question. That is extremely loaded, baby.
Well,
I love the loaded questions.
I mean, if it points to myself, a good example is the relationship between me and my mom. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. What's interesting, and I'm not taking credit for this. I'm just saying in general, since we've been dating, I think our relationship, because it's been different than every other one you've had and your family's seen, I think we've all learned. I think you've learned. I've learned. I think your mother has learned a lot. And your father has learned too, but your father has always been kind of like, the cool, calm, collected guy. He just turned 70. He's experienced, he's 19 years older than me. And if I've, finally figured this out, he figured this out at least 20 years ago. And he's like, okay, I don't want to live the rest of my life causing issues or anything. I'm going to stay behind the scenes in the background and only, say something when necessary. But I think everyone has learned from our relationship. And I think that's where you were heading with that. I'm not trying to take credit for that. I'm just saying that you and I are two normal, decent people. We truly love each other. We're truly compatible. We're going to have our moments, but what couple doesn't? And when we have our moments, they don't last long, and everything's back to normal per se fairly quickly. What do you think?
No, you're right. I answered my part first. I was listening to you. Yeah, you're good.
You want to add anything else to it?
Oh, no. Yeah. That's why I was like, no, you're good.
Let's continue. Last question in this segment, then one more segment. What one question, babe, should we all ask ourselves before posting online? It's a great question, huh?
Is this relevant for the rest of the world? Do I need to share this? Does it need to go out to the whole world, or do I just want to share this with friends? It's yeah.
Do you know what it would be for me? Do you want to hear?
What?
So the one question would be, is what I'm about to say gonna offend anyone? But even more so, if someone else was about to say the same thing I'm about to say, how would I react to it? How would I feel? Or if someone else was about to tell me something that I'm about to tell them, how would I feel? You got to put yourself in other people's shoes, and you can't be a hypocrite. And the thing is, nowadays online, hypocrisy creates outrage, whether it's real or fake. Hypocrisy gets people to react, and it gets people to feel the need to defend themselves. That's why you see creators out there that I like to call intentional hypocrites. Maybe they're somewhat hypocritical in life or not, but whether they're hypocritical or not in real life, they're putting on an act and doing things that come off hypocritical because they want to be called out by other creators to feed the fuel of their outrage, especially, if certain creators, are going at certain other creators, and their audience wants the talk of certain creators or certain aspects, right? So you have to just basically ask yourself, how would you feel if someone said to you what you're about to say to them? That's the way to look at it.
Mhm.
You got to look at it
Yeah.
through the other person's lens.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it as if you were being told that or asked that by someone else.
Mhm.
That's it, right?
Yeah. When
Practice
you're,
what you preach.
yeah, practice what you speak or preach, but also you have to remember, if you're asking somebody to be vulnerable, you need to also be at that vulnerable state.
Absolutely.
You can't expect them to it just break down to you and let you hear everything and try to fix it when you are acting superior already,
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to segment 5. Sorry. You don't have to say what it is. I got a text message. I'll get back to it in a second. Segment 5, building real confidence. What daily action helps you strengthen genuine confidence, babe?
If I have some apprehension about something, I will typically do what a lot of people for self-motivation. I might just sit there and just be like, you're worth it. Dawn, you're worth it. You can do this. Or I might have to be that day, like in the mirror, screaming at myself saying, knock this out of your head. Stop it. So it's just circumstantial there for me.
Yeah. And, for me, babe,
Mm-hmm.
the action or actions that help me strengthen genuine confidence is, number one, believing in myself.
Like I said, I'm
self-love.
worth it. I'm worth it.
Knowing that you're worth it, right? I had something really, really important to say, and same thing. It slips from your mind.
Well, we're talking about so much, and like when I'm talking, I know, something comes up back here in my mind, and then by the time I'm already done talking, I've forgotten about what I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah, it's the most important aspect is believing in yourself, and understanding that the only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. You have to get to a place where other people's opinions don't matter. And even if other people look into you and they find out some truths about you that are not positive, or you've made mistakes in the past, okay, don't let that get to you. We've all made mistakes, right? And there's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as you correct them and, move forward from them. Accepting responsibility for your actions and not being afraid to face the consequences. And part of the consequences of past actions and the outcome of those actions, if you're going to be a public figure on the internet and people look into you, they're going to find out certain things about you that are not that great. But the bottom line is, don't let it get to you. Use those situations as lessons to teach other people, to help them not make the same mistakes. And let people talk about you all they want. Let people talk about you all they want. It's very, very easy to ignore. Now, there's a point where, people push it too far. If people push what they're doing beyond opinions and, into the, defamatory stage, that's a different story. You don't have to tolerate that. But again, you also don't have to feed the fuel of people like that. You handle things respectfully, maturely, and professionally, like your YouTube username, your channel name.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to do it. All right, let's continue here.
How many more questions?
Just 3. How do small wins reinforce your real self? You have to go pee-pee, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
How do small wins do what?
How do small wins reinforce your real self?
Oh, well, I mean, anytime you get a win in life, it's going to boost your morale. It's going to boost your self-confidence. So, take every win when you get it and just keep going, just keep going.
Small wins, they add up.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Small wins, they add up. And then every time you win, even if it's a small win, it's a positive outlook for the future. It's also telling your brain, that, hey, you did something great, and it motivates you to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you the next one. What's your go-to reminder when you feel tempted to hide behind a mask?
Call my mom.
Or talk with me.
Well, of course, talk to you, but my mom, she's the one that really keeps me grounded. Of course, she knows pretty much everything about me, and so, yeah, if I'm falling, she'll catch me with the net, but, I'll still be holding on for dear life there.
Yeah, for me, my go-to reminder when I feel tempted to hide behind a mask, that's why I walk every day, or almost every day. And I always show my face. I show myself when I'm walking. I don't hide on the camera. I am who I am. Some days I'm looking very presentable. Other days I might have a stain on my shirt, and I've realized that. And you know what? I've gotten to the point of, and yes, you need to take care of yourself better. And yeah, I've messed up on that lately. But here's the thing: I'm not letting that get to me. I'm not hiding who I am, and it also shows that, hey, when life gets busy and sometimes you don't have time to do wash or, to change your clothing or something. And if you're trying to make it out on the walk before it gets dark and one extra step is going to put you in the darkness, sometimes, things just happen like that. But I don't hide it. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. All right, so you need to use the restroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to the Reddits here,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera. Dawn's going to step away for her final break. Then we're going to come back and quickly go through 3 excellent Reddit postings here. And before we actually get to that, I'll make you aware that if you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast network, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio, Amazon's Audible, or even YouTube's Music, or even any one of the many unknown or less popular podcasting sites. If you listen to us audio only, you can go below in the description section and you can click the link, which will take you to the video version of our podcast, which is the same audio that you're hearing along with video on our main YouTube channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. You can subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications so you don't miss anything. While you're there within that video, go below the description and you can click the link to subscribe to our secondary channel, GNA2. Genuine Live Personal Development, where I go live, if not every day, almost every day, on Walking with Purpose streams. We do have a topic, but even with the topic, we have plenty of time for informal conversation. And we answer any of your questions regarding personal development, regarding anything that you're struggling with personally or professionally. So that's what we do there. Also, Dawn joins me on some walks every now and then. It's been a while since she joined me because she's been recovering from her clavicle surgery, but pretty much she's recovered now, and she'll be joining me soon. Maybe sometime this week or next week she'll join me. And then sometimes we even do in-studio live streams on GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. The link is below, a couple lines down. After you go to the video version of our podcast. So make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and you select all notifications. So I'm just waiting a second for Dawn to come back. Give me just 1 second here. I forgot to do something before the show, but I have fixed it while multitasking. And I think Dawn is about... Dawn is about to return.
No, 1 second.
All right.
Good.
You ready, my love?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and turn on.
Thank you for that break.
You're welcome. All right, let's get to the first of 3 Reddit postings here. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser source. Give me a second here. All right. This is from the subreddit r/off my chest. And the original poster's title is "I faked my entire life as an influencer and got called out." One more time. I faked my entire life as an influencer and got called out. This was 2 years ago. And look right here. Sorry, this post was deleted by the person who originally posted it. Wow. So you're still feeling shame. Like, you're feeling ashamed of yourself when you could actually be keeping that posting up as a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Anyway, I still wanted to share this because of what was done there. You felt ashamed of what you did. You got called out. You came onto Reddit. You posted about it, partially to redeem yourself, but also to admit you were wrong and to seek forgiveness. Then you delete the post, right? What are your thoughts before we get into some comments here regarding this, Dave?
No, it just obviously shows that guy wasn't ready to really put that out there.
Could be a guy or a girl, you don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We don't know.
Yeah. But maybe they weren't ready to put that out there and then retracted it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they must have changed their mind. The thing on Reddit, once you delete a posting, it just deletes the text. It leaves the title there and leaves the comments. But anyway, let's read some comments here, and we'll have some context. Do so. They are nothing but trite bottom feeders. Do you think that any of them care about you beyond the dopamine rush your existence offered them? I think this person is responding to the original poster's deleted message where they're talking about the audience that the person had. Apparently, this person here, and I've seen many people on YouTube do this, which is why it's not sustainable long term. And at some point, everyone doing this is going to have a collapse like this. This person was probably making lots of money, getting lots of attention, being fake. and they got called out and exposed amongst probably other things that we don't know of or know about. And they did it because that's what their audience wanted. And that's the only thing that would make them money and get them traction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they ask you to give meaningful content? Because they don't give a shit about the meaningful content, right, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Because they care about the outrage, because the outrage masks the pain that all of the people in that audience is feeling about themselves and their personal lives.
Well, they're all
It's their
insecure.
Huh?
They're all insecure.
They're all insecure.
A lot of people, right. I find a lot of people will look for somebody else's failure or somebody else's misery, and they will feed off of that. Like, that is their oxygen, is to see somebody fail.
One person's failure is another person's misery, right?
Yeah. And I like I said, maybe I'm naive, but I really didn't realize that this world had so many evil people in it.
Well, I don't even know if they're technically evil. You can consider it evil, but they feel like the only way that they can gain any relevancy or make any money on the internet, especially on, platforms like YouTube, is by creating fake outrage or being fake and then feeding it to a bunch of bottom feeders. That's all these people are. In the audience, they're bottom feeders. They're bottom feeders that are being played by these creators. And they just don't even realize it.
Yeah, they're just puppets on their strings.
They're a puppet on a string. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Do they hold themselves to the same standards? No, they never hold themselves to the same standards. And that's where the contradiction comes in and the hypocrisy comes in and the fake outrage. And yeah, I bet this person made a lot of money before they got caught.
Yep.
When has the internet been an indicator of someone's actual personality? Well, for us it is, because we're real, but we're one of the few that is real. So it's a fair statement to say, when has the internet been an indicator of someone's actual personality? Well, and that's why you and I get shit, because we're one of the few that's real. We're so real that some people think, or many people think, we're fake because we're so real.
Well,
you can't win either way.
And, to sit there and analyze all of our behaviors of if I do roll my eyes or if, I look away or something, it's like, don't try to know me. You don't know me. So, and I don't know you. So that's that.
Right. All of these things are important to how this situation presents itself. No offense. Yeah. So, I can tell exactly how that original posting was made, even though it was deleted. Because you and I have lived this on social media, especially YouTube. This is a very, very similar story to a lot of things that you and I have experienced. And even before I met you over 4 years ago, I was already starting to experience. Let's continue with a few more comments here. Think of it this way. You were a online presence that gave these people pleasure, and the stolen pics disillusioned them. It took their pleasure away. Basically, they viewed you as a resource, not a person. They were not friends.
No,
yeah,
none of them
basically were. You basically were entertainment to them, and you helped them mask
their
pain
insecurities.
Of whatever they're going through, their insecurities. Right.
It's easy for you when you feel bad about yourself for whatever reason to sit there behind the keyboard to build yourself up to make somebody else feel bad for them. It's really easy to do that. What I say, come, look at me straight in the eye. We'll see who wins that.
Absolutely. When you no longer served as a resource, they turned against you. So when you no longer are providing the audience the one and only thing they're there for, which is your fake selective outrage, right? Or anyone you may have targeted or whatever, you putting out fake pictures of you or whatever, right? When you stop giving them what you were giving them, they're gone because they were there due to all the fake shit you did. And if you try to turn it into being real, they're all going to go.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
These are great choices, aren't they?
They're very good.
These are not good people. They were objectifying you.
Absolutely.
Boy, let's use that word again. They were objectifying you. And how many audiences have we seen on YouTube in many different communities that are and have been objectifying the creators they follow? Because they need a certain dopamine rush from these creators. And in essence, the audience fuels the creator fuels the audience, and they both have to keep fueling each other or else it dies down.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, this creator that deleted their posting here either burnt out or stopped making money doing this. Something changed that wasn't benefiting them from being fake anymore. And they were probably found out because they did something wrong or they messed up on something. And
or maybe they just woke up one day and said, I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this anymore. Amen. That was perfectly said, baby. I know it's hard to feel like a nobody, but it's nice just to be you too. No more persona. Right. Right. You know, a lot of these creators have to continue to be fake to keep the audience around. And a lot of these people have got to be struggling internally, knowing that, hey, if they start to be more real through their content, they're going to be called out. They're going to lose everything. Anyway, sounds like to me you just pulled off a masterclass troll. To be honest, I'd be proud of that. LOL. No, and then they deleted who they were. No. You know, that was trolling. That was a creator basically trolling, probably for profit, probably for views, and more than likely for also profit and stuff, right? But that's nothing to be proud of. You tell me. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of the latter generations, the millennials, the Gen Zers, and now probably even the alpha generation starting to see this, and they may end up being this way, hopefully not. They think being a troll and pulling off a great troll is great. And pulling off a great troll means you're pretending to be something or someone that you're not, and see how long you can get away with it before people figure out. And we've seen that happen to us on YouTube when we used to get trolled a lot in our chats, right?
Yes.
And so, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm good.
One more here, because this was interesting. The way you describe the people from the internet is the exact reason why I stay off social media. It is literally a place where cancer breeds. Perhaps you should know that. But the validation might have been too sweet for you to realize such things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
These people need the validation. And if they can't get the validation of their audience in ways of views, donations, right?
Yeah.
That's when they start to crash. And then they try to keep that validation coming when they're not getting what they need. If they're trying to incite someone into the back and forth and they're not successful at that, they're going to amp it up for a while. Eventually, they're going to crash. You might have low self-esteem deep down, stemming from your childhood, as you mentioned. Wow, I've been saying that for years. Therefore, you're letting yourself be affected by all the negative comments of the nobodies that have nothing better to do with their lives but to drag someone down. I don't know you, but my prime advice would be to not take everything on the internet too seriously, be it even people. You never truly know a person if you only know them online.
That is so true.
So profound, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, we have our GNA executives, and they are our friends. But we don't know everything about their lives, and they don't know everything about ours. And it is like well,
they know a hell of a lot, baby.
What?
They know a hell of a lot.
Yes, honey.
They don't know everything, but they know a hell of a lot.
Yeah, that was gonna be my point. So, but
Oh, you made a great point,
it's okay.
baby. Yeah. So what we were saying is, you never truly know a person if you only know them online. I think that will remind you to
Yeah.
continue saying what you were going to say.
Well, no, that's what I was saying is that we know them and they're friends with us, but we don't truly know everything about them, what they go through daily, who their friends are.
We don't live with them.
No, we don't.
We're not even in the same state as they're in.
No, like we've never met in person, but you know, we were still able to abstain some kind of relationship online, you know? I don't take very many relationships online as to be anything worth giving them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that a lot of creators out there love bomb.
Oh, they're the love bomb masters.
And they draw all these people in. What?
They live to love bomb, baby.
Yeah. And they draw these people in, and then the complete narcissism is starting for that creator.
Right.
That's the start of narcissism right there.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. All right, let's check out this last part here, and then we'll go to the next one. We are at 1 hour and 46 minutes. Very, very good on time. Perfect. I love how these shows are going lately, baby. I love it. High five to you. High five again. All right. I recently lost an online friend of over 7 years over a petty thing, LMAO. He seemingly got mad because I just said that he can't do anything about the Palestine-Iran situation, and that my opinion, this was 2 years ago when it first happened, and that my opinion on it was that I have no opinion and I don't care because it doesn't concern me. And though I choose peace, yet anything I do or say won't have any impact because humans will do whatever TF the fuck they want to do. It should be at the end of the day. So yeah, learn to be indifferent. Indifference makes all the difference. Coach Corey Wayne even said that. I learned so much from Coach Corey Wayne, between Coach Corey Wayne and Dan Bacon. Coach Dan Bacon on YouTube. He just goes by Dan Bacon, and Coach Corey Wayne goes by Coach Corey Wayne. Indifference makes the difference, right? Whether you agree or disagree with something, it's how you disagree.
Yeah, it's all about your reaction.
It's just being indifferent and saying, look, I disagree with you, but I still love you. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. And, I hope you're right about what you're saying. I don't think you are, but hey, let's see what happens. And, you stay friends.
Yeah, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. That's the thing. Their opinions.
Yeah. Opinions are like your asshole. They both stink. You have to learn to understand that. If you can't take opinions, which is criticism, then you shouldn't be on the internet. Now, again, there's a difference between opinions and defamatory statements. And truly defamatory statements, you don't have to deal with and should not deal with. But if people are just making opinions about you that are true, or they're just trying to jerk your chain for a reaction, you can just ignore that shit. It's easier said than done, but that's the way to shut it down, right, baby?
Yes.
All right, let's get to the next one here. We are at 1 hour and 48 minutes. This one just has a title. Oh, with one line. This is from the subreddit r/YouTube gaming 4 years ago. How do you know a content creator is being fake? For example, faking the energy. Let's read a few comments here. They need to be faked. The normal human experiences ranges of emotions daily, and we have no control over it. They force a smile on their faces for the viewers. Also, same with comedians. Problem is, this faking takes a significant toll on their psychology. Take Robin Williams, for example.
Absolutely. I was just thinking
You were
about
thinking
him.
Robin Williams, double high five. We think quadruple high five. You're thinking Robin Williams when he committed suicide many years ago. I think it was over a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was the saddest thing. He was funny as hell. He was very well loved.
My kids loved him.
But problem is this faking, it takes a significant toll on their psychology.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
say a lot of comedians are very depressed individuals. And so they put a front on of being happy all the time and telling jokes, you know? I think it's definitely a facade people put on. And they're truly miserable. And unfortunately, like Robin Williams, sometimes people just hit their limits. And
he
he
did.
couldn't be fake anymore.
Absolutely. And it's sad. I love Robin Williams as well. God rest his soul. The original poster writes back and says, by psychology, you mean it can drain us mentally? I agree. Absolutely.
Duh.
Oh, yeah. And then the person below, Ill Fury or whatever, exactly. I did it for about a year. Sorry, I did it for about a full year, no break. Although I was passionate about it the entire way through, it became too taxing. I donned this character that I wasn't multiple characters depending on the series or game I was playing. I made the videos to make people laugh, and I succeeded. But I succeeded at my own expense. I'd like to see a documentary exploring this problem, like the football concussions. It is a very real problem.
Yes,
and
amen.
It's not just in the gaming community. It's in any community of creators. Gaming is just one aspect. Whatever, people can live stream in any way. I live stream walking most of the time, sometimes in the studio. This is a pre-recorded podcast. It doesn't matter. In any type of content. These creators feel the need to be a certain way or do certain things in order to be relevant and to make money. And they're realizing that they're not being themselves, and it's fucking up their psychology. It's internally messing them up.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that have been doing this for 6, 7, 8+ years, and it's fucking up their psychology. And it's just sad. It's absolutely sad. And it's for all these people that are doing this, this is the proof here that it's all going to come crashing down at some point, right, baby?
Yep.
The original poster says, the thing is, content creators probably won't say they are acting. Well, the ones that are acting will say, well, they won't say they're acting. The ones that are not acting will say, hey, we're not acting. Don and I will come out and gladly say we're not acting because we're not. But people that are acting, if they say they're acting, it'll fuck up their views, their money, their reputation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's where we go back to being authentic to yourself. Just owning yourself, being confident with who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, that's all from that one I wanted to go through. We have one more here. And let's get to that. Okay. This is from the subreddit r/YouTubers. Oh, great. It was 4 months ago. Very new. Very new.
Very new.
The question the original poster stated was, how do YouTubers stay that positive? Are they fake? Some of them are, some of them aren't. Let me read this. Go ahead, babe.
I think it is 50-50. When we're talking about like influencers, like we're talking about these kids that have been out there and exploited that way, I do think it's like that surge of confidence for these
and
kids.
Adrenaline.
Yeah. And they're going, and they love it. They love all the feedback. And then it's just like, boom, you hit a wall and it's like, you can't go any further, you know? You can't put on this fake facade anymore of dancing around and being this, fun little kid and all
It
that
has
stuff.
a limited shelf life.
Yeah.
And then some people realize the shelf life is limited and they still try to push the boundaries because they know once this whole facade is done, they're going to have nothing.
Yes.
So they continue to try to hold on to it with all they've got. And they know it's just a matter of time before it self-destructs in real time. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how do YouTubers stay that positive? Are they fake? So my examples are, and he mentions some YouTubers that we don't know. We're not going to mention them. It doesn't matter. It's a common thing. The first two I would say are normal, casual, genuine, while the other two seem excessive, forced, unnatural. Do you think this is true? Is it to keep views? Absolutely. Not only that, but the more views, the more you can monetize it by super chats, memberships, Cash Apps, PayPals. Go ahead, babe.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we know it together.
Well, yeah.
We live this shit.
You explain it easier.
I love you.
I love you.
God, I love you. Do they not get tired of it? Absolutely. They're fucking lying. They're making money being a fucking phony, which to me, in my opinion, is fraudulent.
Yeah.
I think someone that's being phony
and putting
money,
it off that it's them authentic.
In my opinion, and I state this clearly without mentioning any names, in my opinion, people that do that are considered fraudulent. It's fraud. It's a form of fraud.
Yeah.
Right? So they do get tired of it. I don't know what else to say, but I need to hit that 300 character requirement. Oh God, that's for posting in this subreddit. There's a 300 character requirement. Okay. Well,
then we don't need to listen to you ramble.
Yeah. There's a response here by a Reddit user named Sad Drama 3912. Sad Drama 3912. And they said, you do realize that some people genuinely love being on camera and come alive when the record button is clicked.
Correct.
Well, sure. But then they say, I think the best comparison is going to a karaoke bar. You'll see someone who looks 100% blah sitting at a table. But the moment the mic is in their hand and their song starts, they light up. Now that is true.
They come to life.
They come to life all of a sudden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they feel it and it represents them properly, right?
Well, that's what music does. Music speaks to you.
Music speaks for you. And speaks to you and for you. Yes. Speaks to you, yeah. I used to feel that way going into Zoom meetings where I was training, not energized at all until the moment the session began. Then the combination of engagement, focus, and interest kicked in, and I could go for 2 hours fully energized and having a great time. Well, some people have anticipation anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing, I believe, right?
Sure.
Anticipation anxiety. And I think, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I don't have any degrees in that. This is just strictly my opinion. I think anticipation anxiety is pretty normal for all people. Now, for some people that have anxiety, general anxiety disorder, like you.
And most of the country and world.
And the rest of the country and world that has it, it might affect these people, including you, a little bit more. But even myself that does not have general anxiety disorder, I have moments of anxiety. And
undiagnosed.
Undiagnosed. Thank you for clarifying that. I have moments of anxiety, in my opinion. Okay. And whenever something new is anticipated, when there's anticipation over something new, you're going to get a little anxiety. Okay. Like right before you go live, sometimes you get anxiety. I don't get anxiety before going live anywhere because I've done it many times, but something new that you haven't done before, you're going to get a little bit of anxiety. Okay. Anything else? When I first started in broadcasting, the tip I was given was to smile while you talk to make your voice more pleasant to listen to. Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep, that's true.
Does that really work, guys? I don't know. Does it?
Well, some people have fake smiles.
Yeah. True.
Right, baby?
Yeah, I think everybody has a fake smile.
And you could tell when it's fake, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You could totally tell when it's fake. Joint Chap says a lot of them have a YouTube persona where they sound overly enthusiastic and excited all the time for the sake of viewer retention. I'm going to repeat that again.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have a YouTube persona where they sound overly enthusiastic and excited all the time for the sake of viewer retention. It is a common strategy, so a lot of it is fake. The goal for the viewer to vicariously live through your act and find enjoyment and entertainment because of it.
Mm-hmm.
We see that every second video we come across on our home feed on YouTube. This is exactly what those people are doing. Clyde?
No, go ahead.
You have nothing else to say?
Nope.
Apple Therapy says, same with TV. It's all an actor persona. Well, I mean, if it's a show, if it's a situation comedy or a drama or something like that, it's supposed to be an ad. But a lot of people on YouTube, for example, they are trying to come up as real by being phony because they don't like who they are as a person. They don't like who they really are, but they want the attention to feel like they have some kind of purpose. They're desperate for the validation to feel like they have some kind of purpose so they don't feel like they're a fucking failure, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, right, baby?
Bottom line.
Right? I don't know why people are harder on indie content creators than mainstream companies. They're not. Maybe it appears that way to you from what you've seen, but no, it's the same thing globally.
Yeah.
I think it's worse here in the United States though than other countries because other countries have stricter internet laws. The United States, based on our First Amendment, has the loosest laws when it comes to your protected speech. Like I've been saying on a lot of my walking streams lately on YouTube, but I'll say it here for the podcast audience. In the United States, there is a huge gap between what's considered First Amendment protected speech, freedom of speech, compared to what's defamatory. The line between protected speech in the U.S. and defamation is way the fuck far apart. In other countries, it's much closer. And I think if there is any difference, I think that's where the difference is at. And that's why I honestly think after Trump is out of office, and I'm going to make my prediction that Newsom will be our president or some other liberal Democrat will be president, there's going to be something done to close that gap, especially with social media companies. I think social media companies are going to be held more accountable. I think there's going to be a change in Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which basically immunizes, it makes social media companies immune from lawsuits and puts the liability on the creators and away from the social media companies. I think that they're going to change that. I think, I think between the way that's set right now, which is a 30-plus-year-old law that Chris Cuomo's talked a lot about on News Nation, and the amount of incredible freedom of speech we have here, I think that's why we're seeing all the crazy shit happening. I think if we tighten up the laws a little bit and we hold social media companies more accountable, then you're going to see less outrageous content because social media companies are not going to be dependent on that to make money. They're not going to amplify that content anymore, which is what they're doing now. Anything else on that, baby?
No.
One more here, and then we're going to wrap it up. When you're down and low energy on camera, it really drags the whole video. down. When you don't want to be there, it shows. Some people go hard in the opposite direction for the opposite result. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
That's interesting. I mean, I could say at times when we started these podcasts that just because I was getting used to them, like I wasn't really following as well and feeling as comfortable with just chatting with him like this. So I think I've learned a lot. I've learned confidence in coming out here and just being myself, and which I've done with Eli and now with you guys. And, take me as I am or leave. Just don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, babe. Let's get into final thoughts. What are your final thoughts? This was another great show. I mean,
Yeah.
I really, I'm just so proud of, how, the shows have been turning out lately. And episode number 30, baby. This is our 30th episode.
That's great, baby.
We have not missed a week for 30 weeks. We've had a lot going on. We've even gone out of town to visit your family. That's going to be happening again very soon. But anyway, we're consistent. We still find a way to make it happen.
Yes, we do.
What are your final thoughts regarding, today's episode
Just,
on, being real?
Yeah.
Be real, confidence without a costume.
Yes. Yeah. I just want to, continue with what I was saying is just that, wake up each morning, tell yourself you love yourself, be confident when you walk out that front door, and just own yourself. Just own it. Don't look back, and definitely don't let people get in your way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else, baby?
No, I'm
share
good.
A quick final thought, and then we're going to wrap this baby up, huh?
Wrap it up.
We are at 2 hours and almost 2 hours and 7 minutes. All I'm going to say to wrap it up is this. If there's one thing to remember today, it's this. Real confidence lasts longer than any costume. Real confidence lasts longer than any costume.
Well said.
And you know what, baby? Always be yourself. Look.
Always be yourself.
You see over there? Can you see it?
Bear.
Move up to the side just a little to your left. Yeah. Always be yourself right there. Right?
I love it when I can be like Vanna White.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, baby. It is time to start wrapping things up. All right. You've been listening to the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. This was episode number 30. And the topic was Be Real. Confidence without a costume. Yeah, episode number 30 in the books, baby.
All right, baby.
Be real. Confidence without a costume. Now, let me remind you folks, we're going to remind you folks one last time. If you're listening to us throughout the audio-only podcast network and you would like to watch the video version, okay? If you're listening to us, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon Music. Your very favorite, baby.
iHeartRadio.
One more time.
iHeartRadio.
And again.
Oh, my iHeartRadio.
That's right. Her favorite's iHeartRadio. It ranks high in the search engine on Google, baby. It's always at the top.
Always number one. Always number one,
when
baby.
I search for our podcast every week on the audio-only side of things. Or, Amazon's Audible or YouTube's Music or any one of the other less popular or not as well-known audio-only podcast sites. If you want to watch the video, go in the description. There's a link there. That link will take you to our main channel on YouTube, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. Subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications so you don't miss anything. Also, go in the description in that video. 2 lines down or so, you'll see the link to our live streaming channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. Subscribe there, bang the bell, and select on notifications so you don't miss anything. I go live there almost every day, if not every day, on Walking with Purpose streams, and sometimes Dawn joins me. And then we have other live content there as well. So subscribe to both of our channels and keep in touch with us in between the podcast. With that being said, it's time to go, baby. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, baby,
be good.
Be good to each other.
We didn't do that very well. We didn't do that well.